griot, educator, communications technologist, ordained priestess, author, holistic naturopath, consultant. And of course, she is the president of the Caribbean Studies Association. They'll be having their 47th conference coming up June 5 to 9 in St. Croix, Virgin Island, USA. And I'm not sure, are they up yet? I know that Sharon, my co-host, is supposed to also be on as well. Anybody up? So we say good morning and welcome everyone in on this cool, real nice, cool Thursday morning. And we're going to be hearing more about this conference that's taking place in another couple of days in St. Croix. And that is going to encompass so much. So we're looking forward to hearing more about this. Blessed morning, Sister Queens.
Blessed morning.
Oh, it is a grand morning. Even in the
Blessed
midst
morning.
of the hurricane season, we are presenting our best selves.
Oh, yes, absolutely. We are. We'll give thanks for another blessed day. We've been having rain. I know you've been having rain on that side, Oshun. We have been having some rain, even rain this morning while I was walking.
Oh, yes.
It's blessings. We give thanks for the blessings. What about you, Dr. Shenzira? You having rain over there as well?
We have a little bit of rain. We don't have as much as we would like, but we've been getting a little sprinkle
here, a little sprinkle there.
Relatively cool.
It's nice and cool.
Sure.
Oh, yes. It's nice and cool.
Yeah.
So where are you now? Because I
by the
can't
time
keep
I
up
get
with
there,
you.
They will get more rain.
Right.
Yeah.
I can't
Yeah.
keep up with you, Dr. Shenzira. Where are you now? Because I know that you are, you're all over. But where are you exactly now?
Well,
Are you in St. Croix?
right now, because of the Caribbean Studies Association conference being hosted for the first time in 49 years here in St. Croix.
Wow.
Right there.
There.
Right there.
I love that theme that you have. Yeah, there. Oh. So we give
But
thanks for
Sister
that.
Queenie said you were at the other end of the island today for an interview. So you are all over, one end of the island to the next.
That's right. That's right.
Constantly.
That's right. We give
We've had,
thanks.
we've had a very full day of just bringing things together. Our theme for the CSA 2023 here on St. Croix is transforming our Caribbean. And the whole idea is that all of the presenters that are part of the CSA, and again, the Caribbean Studies Association, I encourage persons to go to Caribbean Studies Association.org. There's a particular tie to Jamaica because our CSA conference in 2022, while it was virtual, it was conducted, highlighted through President Schoberg
Right.
of the UE in Mona campus. And while it was virtual, there were several of our delegates that came
there, right.
physically and had the
Right.
opportunity with support, of yourself, as well as Sister Queen, Sharon Oshun Harris Chambers, her beloved husband, Baba Theo Chambers, and others. We had a chance to really kind of do a more immersion type of experience in Jamaica while we were doing CSA 2022. So this kind of springboards into what we are doing this year with transforming our Caribbean here in St. Croix and really highlighting a variety of themes. We're looking at sustainable educational research. We're looking at how persons are dealing with global Caribbean studies. We're looking at how persons are integrating these different strategies for environmental solutions, not just to identify the problems, but to actually look at environmental solutions. The fact that we're having increase in rain in certain areas, the fact that we're addressing how dry it is in certain areas. How is this affecting agriculture and agritourism? How is this affecting ecotourism and our overall tourism product? So a lot of what we're sharing is around, as I said, sustainable educational research, cultural creatives. We have a series of films that are going to be screened from various Caribbeanist scholars, producers, etc., around themes on how do we uplift life and traditions and heritage and our economies through film and media. We're going to have gatherings around sacred traditions. A lot of persons are very comfortable speaking about Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, and then they overlook some of the African ancestral indigenous spiritual systems. So there's going to be some discourse and presentations, not just scholarly, but based on the actionable deliverables in that area. And of course, we always speak of these things through a lens of economies and economic
Right,
development.
right.
So we're very excited about having more than 200 scholars,
Whoa,
practitioners,
awesome.
graduate students from around the world to come to St. Croix and experience definitely a vibe like no other.
What was the criteria though? Because that is a big deal. You know, you say, wow, that's a big deal. First time ever as well. What was the criteria to make that happen in St. Croix this year?
Okay, the criteria this time was that I am president. I served as vice president last year, so it gave the president has the luxury, if you will, and the charge, more accurately, because it's a tremendous amount of work and it requires a very engaging team. And my team literally is around the world. My team is not only here in St. Croix and the Virgin Islands. I have the team that are in Jamaica. I have, supporters that are in the contiguous U.S. I have supporters that are helping with the planning and logistics from as far as Barbados, Suriname, Guyana. I mean, it's been very wide reaching. And I've had some support as well from persons that are in the UK, France, as well as in West Africa and Central Africa that have actually given support, participated in planning to facilitate some of the details that are connected to this. It's happening in St. Croix because it's important that it happens here. St. Croix is the cultural capital of the Virgin Islands, and persons tend not to know that. St. Croix has also been designated as a national heritage area by the U.S. government, which is not an easy designation to acquire because there's a very rich cultural heritage tradition. There's a very silent treasure of history that is connected to persons of African ancestry, persons of Eurasian ancestry, and a very long-standing indigenous culture. There's always a call for papers. Again, this is not a new organization. CSA has been at this 49 years. So there's always a call for papers, to academicians, graduate students, scholars, seasoned persons that there are independent scholars, and in our case, filmmakers that are given an opportunity to submit an abstract. We completed our abstract submission process in January. And the main criteria for being a part of that is to show the relationship of what you're presenting to Caribbean studies and the improvement of the quality of life in Caribbean spaces and wherever Caribbean people, history, traditions are influenced, which is the entire world.
Right.
So see where it goes? Yeah.
So you did mention, your team is all over the world. You mentioned Jamaica, and of course we have our sister queen here, Sharon Oshun Chambers. Talk to us about your, how you're working along with Dr. Shenzira. And I know you're heading there. You're heading out tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. And I'm looking forward to getting some links from you as well. Talk to us about your contribution and how you're working.
Absolutely. I am going to put on my Gideon boots. I am going to land or parachute in and run into action. As she needs me, I am ready to go. The Jamaican arm is ready. And what we've been doing is we've been going to the different market sectors to see how many of them are aware of the CSA. And if so, are they willing to support them and in what way?
Right.
And to provide them information and to help them to engage with the CSA, but also I am going to bring information back to Dr. Shenzira to see how the CSA can widen its span or narrow its focus about its target market and audience so that they can gain new memberships.
Right.
And more people can use their research and information in their entrepreneurship, in their companies and investments and so on. There's so much talent within the CSA, and it spans a wide span of South America, and the Caribbean side is very large. And so I've been able to make a lot of phone calls. It's a lot of fun. Emails and follow-ups. And so we have reports of how to improve this initiative. I also wanted to say that the way that Dr. Chen has approached it is in fact that multicultural and multi kind of diagnostic way of going through multiple sectors across large spans to get people engaged.
Right.
Because that's
very
what
important.
They want to do. They want to engage the entire Caribbean.
What kind of responses have you been getting, though, Oshun, in terms of, you say you've been sending out emails and, making a lot of phone calls as well. But up to now, and you're going to be reporting back to Dr. Shenzira. What kind of response have you been getting with regards to the CSA?
I got an interesting response yesterday. Dr. Obika, I'm not sure if he wants me to use his name, but he's someone I love dearly, and from UTech, UTech Kingston. So often he provides graduate students to us, and we train them and we send them back. And he says he's very happy with our work. And he says for the past 3 years he has been going, but this year is unable to. And I have a question for Dr. Chen, because she says that there's a travel supplement. And so are they all aware? Is it always available every year, the travel supplement?
Every year.
And also there are others who are coming on board, ISIS. Dr. Jelani Nair, whom you know very well, Michael Barnett. He couldn't even talk this morning. He says, I've got to finish marking my papers, because he's getting ready to go on a plane tomorrow as well.
And Dr. Michael, you said Dr. Michael Barnett as well?
Those are the few I was able to engage with, and there are many others that I have not.
Did you say that Dr. Michael Barnett is also traveling tomorrow as well, along with
Yes.
Jelani? Awesome. Wonderful.
Yeah,
we look forward to that. So then, all right, the average person.
Tell us about the travel award, if you could possibly, for those who may need help traveling to the conferences.
See, the key thing about the Travel Grant Award is that it's based on what we raise and generate over the course of the years. And what we attempt to do is to make sure, like, that's when you go to the conference, when you go to Caribbean Studies Association.org and you go to conference, you'll see the opportunity for any type of award or incentive, etc. Right? This year, we spent more time really attempting to facilitate travel agency transport, ground transport, than is customary, because in previous conferences, the conference will be hosted like in a hotel with everything happening in the hotel. So there's no real movement in that regard. St. Croix is very different and very small. We're 84 square miles. We're a beautiful 84 square miles and 2 square miles of submerged lands. And in that space, we do not have like a large hotel that can accommodate 200 plus persons like that. So we've had to split up where persons are staying on the island, but it's not like it's far. It's like 5 to 7 miles this way, 5 to 7 miles that way, maybe 10 to 12 miles north, south. That's about all. It's not really like that kind of issue.
Right.
However, we had to be very creative in providing that travel grant award, but that's something that's made available to persons specifically that are presenting. So like if you submit your abstract and you indicate in your abstract submission that your participation is guided or guarded around you obtaining a travel grant award, then you get access to that as well. You can submit your information. It's a very short process, and it usually takes like within, I'll say like less than a month for persons to get that information. So we're always encouraging persons to do that early. This year, because we're in the St. Croix Virgin Islands, which is part of the U.S., and you have to come through a U.S. customs space and immigration space, we had to remind persons to deal with their visas. So that was another deterrent. We've had conferences where there's been close to 1,000 people that come, right? And so
they're in St. Croix?
Not in St. Croix. The last time I can there were over 600 that attended in Santa Marta in Colombia. Right? There were over 1,000 that attended in Haiti. I'm just saying, so sometimes it really depends on the location.
Right.
And it also depends on what, for persons that are academicians, that are connected to particular higher education institutions, there's a time frame. They have to get permissions for leave, they have to get permissions for funding, etc. Most persons are connecting it to their respective institutions. Independent scholars or retired scholars, with limited resource, then that's, and of course graduate students, because we have a very large graduate student component, right, to really encourage the succession planning of this work that CSA has been involved in. So that, I would keep it to where persons can go to Caribbean Studies Association.org. And again, you're going to see a lot of different things that are moving and changing because we are actually in process with the conference. So you'll start to see the population of the actual schedule, which is quite engaging because we're doing over 200 plus papers films, poster presentations in the body of 5 days.
Right, it's a lot, yes.
Almost all day. We're starting at 8:30. Most of our convenings end at 5, with the exception of Friday. We're ending a little early because we have an invitational gala that is hosted by the Office of the Governor of the Virgin Islands, the Honorable Albert Bryan Jr. And so we have some other things that are going on. We have some tours for people to actually get to see and experience St. Croix. You can't come to St. Croix without going to the beach. I'm going to tell everybody up front.
You hear that, Oshun? Make sure you pack a couple of bathing suits there.
Exactly.
Make sure.
You can't go you have to go to the governor's ball as well.
Right. You have to come prepared for formal because we're doing formal.
Right.
Very formal. And then afterwards, we're going to have what we call the post CSA line in St. Croix Crucian style. Yeah.
What is that?
So it's called the post CSA Crucian line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that's going to be at one of our. It's powerful levels. VI is a business run by some young Virgin Islanders that are awesome, awesome, and they have created.
I know I could not be in St. Croix without doing that.
I'm just saying, it's
not let me get away.
They got levels inside of the club, so I can't just call it a club, because yes, they do have a little bar, a little snack spot, and some live music, but they have levels where they can listen to 3 different types of music without it interfering at any time. And
Whoa!
These young people, Kamal Russell, the who that
need chill out time.
Boy, that sounds exciting.
We have a cultural night that we're going to give people just a slice, a little slice.
A little piece. So is it your first time there, Sharon, to St. Croix? First time?
No, I think I went with the Caribbean Media Exchange with Bevan Springer and his father, Mrs. Springer, and Alex Chastanet, who were the original founders.
Mm-hmm. Okay, but this is going to be totally different.
It's the first time rolling with Dr. Chen.
A whole different vibe. Wow. And you start on Monday, right? The 5th. It's the 5th Monday?
Yes, we're going to start on the 5th. Now we have social, some meet and greets that are going to be happening starting from tomorrow. As well, because there's different businesses that are opening up their spaces to welcome CSA delegates as they come and prepare for the conference that starts on on Monday. So there'll be some activities tomorrow evening. We've got a local artist, Monet, really, moving up in the ranks in terms of her sound, power, and positive music. I want to highlight that. And so that's going to be something at the Pelican, and that's another space, a hotel space, conference kind of space that we're going to be doing things. We also have on Saturday night, there's going to be another meet and greet, right in Christiansted Town. That's when the bulk of persons are actually coming. On Sunday, we've been invited to go to Serenity's Nest. I'm going to leave it just right there. All things reggae, all things live, so there's going to be a meet and greet there. And then each evening, different businesses have opened up their space to just welcome our CSA delegates so they can also have an opportunity to embrace and have a good St. Croix experience, inclusive of the Cane Roots Art Gallery under the direction of another powerful art curator, Sister Queen, Sonia Dean, who's really bringing a whole other level. But at the Caribbean Museum Center of the Arts on Wednesday, we're going to have a really interesting, so I'm telling people, come ready.
Be prepared.
Show your skills.
Yes.
If you approve it, if you got some poetry in your voice box, bring it. You got a couple songs, bring it. You got some dance step styles, bring it. I know
Oshun has some dance steps.
Listen, I already know. She's already on the program. She's already on the program.
Yeah, she got to be there, right? And
so we're excited to have Jamaica well represented,
Beautiful.
With a number of the scholars that have been mentioned. I know that also there's another brother from I'm not recalling his last name. There's a few people that are scheduled to come from the UE. I don't have all of their confirmations before me now, but of course the immediate past president is Iris Schoberg of UE Mona. So I know that I don't recall her making a confirmation to attend. However, I know that she is the immediate past president, and I want to acknowledge that.
Okay,
so we're looking forward to welcoming. We know that Dr. Opal Palmer Adisa, who is our chief editor for the inaugural CSA Journal, which will be launched at this conference. The copies came.
Beautiful.
Well, I haven't even opened the box. I said I'm gonna wait till Dr. Adisa get here, and we're gonna open it together. So we're excited about that. And she was very instrumental. UE Press is our publisher. So you want to send out a special thanks to Ms. Nadine Buckland, along with the new director at UE Press, Ms. Christine Randall. So we're really excited about, again, so Jamaica's in the midst.
Well represented, yes. And I know, as I said, I'll be getting updates as you move through the conference over the next couple of days, starting next week. But in closing now, just, in a synopsis, basically, just to say, what is the ultimate goal, as a president, the ultimate goal and aspiration for this particular conference this year?
Transforming our Caribbean is our theme.
That's a theme.
And it's also a goal. And it's for us to be able to culminate all of these different presentations and connect it to actionable deliverables. Right. What are the things that we're going to be able to do at the end of the day? What are we going to be able to produce? What are we going to be able to institutionalize? What are we going to be able to transform? What are we going to actually be able to see shift significantly in a revolutionary way? Some people are afraid of that term. I'm not.
Just change.
So we do this in a way so that we can see that there's an improvement in the quality of life for the common person here in our Caribbean spaces and wherever Caribbean people, families, nations, heritages, traditions are around the globe.
And I'm so happy that you mentioned for the common folk. I think that's so critical. That's so important. The common person, the everyday person. Yeah.
Right, because we do a book drive. We didn't, of course, during the virtuals and the hybrids, but we all customarily ask all of the scholars to bring publications, whether it's their own or from their circle of influence, so that we can donate them to libraries, to families, to institutions, and wherever space we go. So there's always a book drive, and we encourage persons that are coming or are interested. That's something that you can continue to send on a regular, right? Because again, when you go to CaribbeanStudiesAssociation.org, there's quite a bit of information. It's going to look very conference centered now, but customarily you'll be able to see updates on new publications, new research, new projects. That's what we're aiming to do, to stay connected, to stay linked, to have a synergy, to keep this tapestry of our one Caribbeanness in place to the best of our ability. Yes, through an academic lens, but what is the academy but a reflection of the people?
Very important. President, man, doing an awesome job as per usual. Give thanks. I know
it's an honor to be in presence, Sister Queen, as well as you, Sister Queen. Both
Sharon.
So I feel like we're right at the Temple of Inner Peace at the same time.
Right?
I felt that Jamaica,
for sure.
Mount Erie. Yeah, I felt it.
We're sending that energy to you.
Give thanks
for you to receive it and just dissipate it to everyone around you in the conference.
Beautiful. Well
Lots
said.
of love and light.
And Jagad and Protect Oshun. Yes, you travel out tomorrow. I know you'll be in touch with us. We can know what's taking place, and it's just exciting times. And congratulations once again, Dr. Shanzira, and your team, your international team. Yeah, bless you and thank you. Great work.
You're looking well, Dr. Chen.
Yes.
Blessed day.
You all are helping me to stay elevated, and for that, I'm very grateful. I'm very, very grateful. Thank you so much. Ashe, Asante.
Blessed love.
You know.
Blessed love. All right. Take care, Sister Queen. Thank you so much. Have a great day.
Isis.
Bless
really
you.
Appreciate it.
Bless you
Beautiful
both.
Time.
Thank you. Wow. Exciting times over there in St. Croix. Wow. Starting on Monday, the 47th conference is taking place. It's starting for 5 days. Yeah, actually for 5 days. We just had Dr. Shanzira on, of course, CSA president, and of course Oshun Sharon Chambers, who is traveling tomorrow to participate in the conference as well. And so exciting times. We're looking forward, as I said, to have links, and also to when she comes forward to give us an update or what took place over those 5 days. Thank you so much, Queens. All right, it's exactly 11 o'clock, and you're in tune to Roots FM 96.1 on the FM band. Thank you all who have been watching and listening on the Facebook or the Twitter, wherever you are. We thank you. As we take a little commercial break, a pause for the call before we go into our next program. Yeah, coming up in just a moment. Soon come.
Denise, Isis Miller with Roots Allergy